I work as a coder for Fortnite. No, I don't work for Epic Games. I work for a company that supports Epic Games. We're in the shadows and we aren't really credited with making the game. We're just there for extra things such as hot patches and to ban cheaters. Epic Games is just too small to handle all the people playing all at once. That's where we come in. I do all those things I just listed and maybe more depending on what they need. I'm going to share with you a story. I don't know where to put this as I was sworn to secrecy, but it isn't right what happened. Even the various governments of the world got involved to cover this all up. Hopefully this sheds some light on a very dark subject. Epic Games fired a worker a few days before the incident. They sent a representative down to us because usually when there was an opening, they would fill it with one of us since we worked so closely with them. Needless to say, I wasn't chosen. I'm kind of happy now that I wasn't. The person they fired was banned from the premises. He went out nicely and without incident. However, they failed to revoke his remote login credentials. He had administrative control over everything. If he wanted the meteor to appear again like it did in Season 3, he could. If he wanted to send an earthquake again, he could. He could do anything that had been done before, or he could do anything he wanted to, so long as he could code it into the game. A few days went by after this person's firing. No one thought anything of it, and the higher-ups still forgot about his remote access. This would prove to be a truly fatal flaw. The person who got fired took a few days to code a nasty virus, complete with high-pitched sounds for headset users, flashing lights, as well as a program that would launch in the event that your character died in the game. It would make your console, PC, as well as phone freak out. Needless to say, he thought all of this out. He took advantage of one of our most vulnerable servers Fortnite has to offer, the Oceania server. This is where it happened. We got reports flooding into our offices that people in those servers were being put into 1,000-man matches. The match didn't start until the 1,000 people there were eliminated to just 100 for a normal game. Only then would a game start. That region has millions of people living in it. The time zone is very different and far ahead as well if you live in America. When it's 5 p.m. on the East Coast, it's about 8 a.m. there the next day. At about 5 p.m. our time, those reports turned into phone calls. The calls were from gamers, their parents, and their loved ones. The calls ranged from reporting the 1,000 pre-lobby matches to actual injuries and fatalities. The first call I took was of a mother. She found her son passed out and unresponsive. He was one of the ones that was eliminated before the lobby reached 100 players. His headset emitted a harsh sound to his ears which carried into his brain. He passed out from an audible he received. Another person who was eliminated before the 100 player count, his headset actually couldn't handle the sound that was made, and his headset caught on fire. He was unable to take the headset off because the program that launched on his Xbox played a pattern that put him in a trance, unable to move. That was just 2 out of the hundreds of calls I took that night. Some I don't even want to say on here, but I know they didn't make it. Firefighters and paramedics throughout the areas were dispatched. Hospitals were flooded with people. You could see some of my coworkers crying at the calls that they were hearing. Our boss was on call with the CEO of Epic. They decided to shut that server down. When that happened, it made everyone lose. Everyone got the noise, everyone got the flashing, and the virus that went along with it. Some headsets caused house fires. Some people had to be put into a medically induced coma. From the flashing and from the virus, it traumatized people. Some were able to break out from their headsets but were so disoriented from what they heard and saw, some jumped out of their windows. There were over 30,000 injuries throughout the region and a handful of deaths. That number could rise as some are still in their comas. It could have been so much worse. He was only able to create about 31,000 pre-lobby matches before we shut it down. The ordeal only lasted about 30 minutes or so as well, but the fallout was huge. News outlets didn't know what happened, and like it or not, the sales of V-Bucks were taxable in the area, so it made the government a lot of money. The governments each had a different explanation for the events, but none were the truth. Everyone at Epic Games, as well as my company, were sworn to secrecy. I quit the next day. I just had to get this out. I hope it doesn't happen again. If you see 1,000 people in your lobby, please disconnect immediately.